Jack lived alone on the edge of the colony. The small settlement was quiet, peaceful, and almost forgotten by the larger human space projects. The buildings were simple, made of steel and reinforced glass, but they had everything a person might need: a kitchen, a small lab, and a workshop filled with tools. Jack loved it this way. The isolation gave him time to think, time to repair things, and most importantly, time to be himself. One evening, as the twin suns of the planet were setting and casting long golden shadows across the landscape, Jack was outside fixing a hover drone. The little machine had been acting up, buzzing strangely and failing to maintain altitude. He crouched over it, tightening a loose screw with precision. The sound of the metal clicking under his wrench echoed lightly in the air. Almost there, Jack muttered to himself. That's when he heard it, a soft, hesitant shuffle behind him. He froze for a moment, expecting maybe a small animal or a stray maintenance robot. But no, this was something else. Turning slowly, he saw a tiny figure standing a few feet away. It was a little girl, but not like any human child he had ever seen. Her skin was soft and pale with a faint blue glow, like moonlight on water. Her eyes were large, round, and dark, reflecting the twin suns in a way that made them seem almost liquid. Her hair shimmered like silver threads falling gently over her shoulders. Jack straightened up, unsure what to say. "Hello, can I help you?" The girl stepped closer, her small hands clutching something. She looked down at the object, then back up at him. "Here's $5, she whispered. Her voice was soft, almost trembling. I just need a dad for one day." Jack blinked. Dad?" She nodded quickly, her tiny shoulders lifting and falling. "Just one day, please. I will give you this," she said, holding out the crumpled bill. Jack's heart skipped. He wasn't sure if she was joking, or if she even understood what she was asking. He looked at her face, the hopeful expression, the courage hidden behind her fear. Somehow it reminded him of humanity's ability to survive and adapt, even in the most dangerous and strange situations. Why do you need a dad?" he asked gently. Her eyes flicked down. I don't have one. Or Denny, I want someone to be with me. Just for one day. Please, Jack swallowed. He had lived through hard times himself. He knew what it was like to feel alone. Something in the girl's voice and the way she stood there, so small and brave, made him realize that maybe he could help. "All right," he said finally, forcing a smile. "I'll be your dad for one day, but we'll do it my way. You follow me and I promise we'll have an adventure." The girl's eyes lit up. "Really?" she whispered, barely able to contain her excitement. "Really?" Jack said. He offered his hand and she took it, her grip small but firm. The first thing Jack wanted to do was show her the basics of survival on the colony. They walked past the metallic structures, the faint hum of energy generators filling the air, and came to a small artificial stream created to recycle water for the settlement. The water floated in thin ribbons above the ground, held in place by anti-gravity fields. "This is a hover stream," Jack explained. "You can fish here if you know how to handle the small drones we use as bait." The girl's eyes widened in wonder. "You fish? In the air?" Jack laughed. "Not exactly, but close enough. Watch." He took a small drone, dipped it into the floating water, and activated its tiny sensors. The drone darted through the ribbons of water, attracting small native fish that glided alongside it. The girl clapped her hands in delight, her laughter light and musical. "Now you try," Jack said, handing her another drone. At first she struggled. The controls were tricky, and the fish were faster than they looked. But she didn't give up. She adjusted her grip, tilted her small fingers, and soon the drone moved smoothly through the hovering water. Jack watched her, impressed. "Not bad. You've got patience and a good eye." "Humans might have taught you that," the girl shook her head. "No humans, just me." Jack nodded, realizing that this little girl, lost and alone in the galaxy, had already learned to survive without anyone. And yet here she was, asking for something that no skill could replace: a parent. After fishing, Jack led her to a hidden cave nearby. The cave had been part of an old mining operation but was now empty. Inside, it was cool and dim, with walls reflecting faint light from crystals embedded in the stone. "Ever been caving?" Jack asked, looking back at her. The girl shook her head. "No, I didn't even know caves existed like this." "Good. Then this will be fun." Jack handed her a small helmet with a built-in light. She hesitated, then placed it on her head, her eyes sparkling in the dim glow. They explored tunnels, climbed small ridges, and discovered hidden crystals that pulsed softly. The girl laughed every time she found something new, her laughter echoing in the empty cave like tiny bells. Jack felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had expected to simply entertain her, maybe keep her safe, but already he was learning from her. She had courage, curiosity, and a spark of intelligence that reminded him of what humans could do when faced with impossible odds. As they exited the cave, the twin suns had nearly set, leaving a sky painted with shades of orange and purple. Jack's communicator beeped, signaling an alert from the colony center. He frowned and checked the readout. That's strange, he muttered. The alert showed that children like her, alien children recently orphaned, were being rounded up by an organization claiming to protect them, but Jack knew better. History had shown that such groups often cared more about control than care. The girl noticed his concern. "What's wrong?" she asked. Jack bent down to her level. "It's nothing you need to worry about. Yet. But we should probably move. They might come looking for you." Her small hand tightened around his. "I'm not afraid," she said, her voice quiet but firm. Jack smiled at her courage. "Good. That's important." He decided they would take a longer route back to his home using side paths, avoiding the main roads. They climbed over rocks, slipped past small patrol drones, and even ducked into shadowed alleys. The girl was quick, clever, and surprisingly aware of her surroundings. Jack realized she had learned these skills on her own, which made him admire her even more. Back at the colony edge, they paused on a hill overlooking the settlement. The twin suns were gone, leaving a sky full of stars, each one twinkling like a tiny lantern in the distance. The girl sat down on a rock, her knees drawn up, her small face serious for a moment. "Jack, why are you helping me?" she asked softly. Jack thought for a moment. "Because even one person can make a difference, and sometimes helping someone else helps you too." She tilted her head, considering this. "You really think one day can change something?" Jack smiled. "One day can change a life." The girl's lips curled into a small smile, and she leaned against him. For a moment, the strange alien and the human were just two beings, sharing trust and warmth under a sky filled with stars. But Jack knew that their day was not yet over. The alert had reminded him that danger was close. And the girl, well, she wasn't just any child. She carried with her a spark of resilience, intelligence, and hope that made him realize that even in this vast, dangerous galaxy, humanity's courage could shine brightly. Jack's eyes scanned the horizon, ready for whatever came next. He didn't know if he could protect her fully, but he knew one thing. He would try. For one day, he would be the dad she needed. And perhaps in the process, he would discover something extraordinary about himself and the universe around him. As the night deepened, a soft breeze rustled the strange alien plants, and Jack tightened his grip on her small hand. "Come on," he said. "Let's head home before it gets too late. Tomorrow we might need all the courage we have." The little girl nodded, her eyes shining with excitement and trust. And in that moment, Jack understood something he had never thought about before. Even one human standing strong in the right moment could change everything. The night was quiet, but Jack could not sleep. His mind kept returning to the alert from the colony center. The little girl, whose name he had learned was Lyra, was not just any child. She was part of a group of orphaned aliens, children left alone in a galaxy that often didn't care. The organization tracking them claimed to protect them, but Jack knew better. Protection sometimes meant control, and control could be dangerous. He glanced at Lyra, who was curled up on the small cot beside him, her breathing soft and even. Even though she was small, she seemed older in ways that made Jack wary. She had already survived alone, showing intelligence, courage, and resilience beyond her years. But tonight she needed him, and he knew he couldn't fail her. At dawn, the twin suns began to rise again, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Jack had packed a small bag with essentials: food, water, a portable energy shield, and a few gadgets he had built over the years. Lyra climbed down from the cot, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Are we going on another adventure?" she asked. Jack smiled. "Yes, but today it's a little more serious. We have to stay careful." Together they moved quietly through the settlement, avoiding main roads where patrol drones often passed. Jack noticed that Lyra had a natural instinct for danger. She paused when a shadow moved strangely, crouched low when a drone hovered too close, and even whispered warnings about unseen obstacles. Jack was impressed. She had learned skills that humans usually only mastered after years of training. They reached the outskirts of the colony, where the land became rougher and filled with strange, glowing plants. Jack pointed to a narrow canyon that led to a series of caves he knew well. "This is our route," he said. "They won't find us here." Lyra followed closely, her small hand in his. As they walked, Jack explained how humans could adapt to almost any environment. "We survive by thinking, planning, and using what we have," he said. "Sometimes brains matter more than strength." Lyra nodded. "I understand. I've survived because I watched and learned." Jack felt a deep respect for her. She had survived without guidance, yet here she was, trusting him to lead. He realized that humans could be more than strong. They could inspire trust, courage, and hope even in a child from another world. As they entered the canyon, a loud noise startled them. Patrol drones were scanning the area, searching for escaped children. Jack quickly ducked behind a rock, signaling for Lyra to do the same. He activated a small device that projected a holographic decoy of their shapes moving in the opposite direction. The drones focused on the decoy and flew past them. Lyra gasped, impressed. "How did you do that?" she whispered. Jack smiled. "Humans are good at thinking fast. We can make even machines see what isn't real." They continued deeper into the canyon, careful to avoid more drones. Jack felt a surge of pride. Humanity's cleverness, combined with Lyra's instincts, made them a strong team. Even in a galaxy filled with danger, they had a chance. By midday, they reached a hidden cave with a small underground stream. Lyra knelt by the water, her reflection shimmering. She touched the surface gently, fascinated. Jack watched her. "This is a good place to rest for a while," he said. "You've done well so far. But the real test is coming." Lyra looked up at him. "What test?" Jack sighed. "The organization won't give up easily. They want to control kids like you. We might have to face them." Lyra's eyes grew serious. "Then I will fight." "I'm not afraid." Jack smiled at her bravery. "Good, that's important. But remember, fighting doesn't always mean using strength. Sometimes it means using your mind, staying calm and finding a way out." As they rested, Jack taught Lyra a few tricks with his gadgets. He showed her how to use a portable energy shield, how to manipulate small drones, and how to read subtle changes in the environment that could indicate danger. Lyra absorbed everything quickly, her mind sharp and curious. "You're amazing," Jack said. "Most humans take years to learn this stuff." "You've got instincts," Lyra grinned. "I had to survive. Now I get to have fun too," Jack laughed. "That's right. Fun is important even in dangerous times." Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the canyon. Jack stood up quickly. "They found us," he whispered. Lyra's eyes widened, but she did not move away. Jack activated his energy shield and stepped in front of her. "Stay behind me. Watch and learn." A group of drones hovered at the canyon entrance, scanning for heat signatures. Jack studied their movement and noticed a small blind spot near a cluster of rocks. He signaled to Lyra to follow him silently. They moved quickly, keeping low, using the shadows to hide. One drone suddenly detected movement. Its sensors lit up and a warning beeped. Jack quickly activated a small smoke device he had designed. Thick clouds filled the canyon, confusing the drones. "Now run," Jack shouted. Lyra ran, keeping close behind him. They darted through the smoke, using narrow paths only they could navigate. The drones struggled to follow, colliding with rocks and each other. Jack's heart pounded, but he remained focused. Humanity's strength wasn't just in power, it was in thinking fast and acting smart. After what felt like hours, they reached a cliff overlooking a large valley. Below, the settlement stretched out, peaceful and unaware of the chase that had just occurred. Jack looked at Lyra. "We did it," he said, breathing heavily. "We're safe. For now." Lyra smiled, exhausted but proud. "You really are a good dad," she whispered. Jack felt a warmth in his chest he had never felt before. He had never thought he could be a parent, even for a day. Yet here he was, protecting a life, teaching her and inspiring courage. He realized that humans were not just strong in body. They were strong in heart, in will, and in the ability to care. As night fell again, they set up a small camp near the edge of the valley. Jack started a small fire using alien fuel he had collected. Lyra sat beside him, watching the flames dance. "Jack," she said softly, "do you think I could really have a dad someday?" Jack looked at her, thinking, "If someone as brave and clever as you can survive alone, you deserve the best. And sometimes, one day can be the start of something bigger." Lyra nodded, resting her head on his shoulder. "Thank you, Dad." Jack smiled, feeling a deep connection he had never expected. He knew tomorrow they might face more challenges. The organization could come again, and the galaxy was full of dangers. But for now, in this quiet moment, he understood something important. One human, standing strong, could protect and inspire hope in another being, no matter how different they were. Before sleeping, Jack looked at the stars, thinking about the universe. It was vast, filled with unknown dangers and wonders. But he also thought about Lyra, a small, brave child who reminded him of humanity's potential. The ability to care, to fight for what is right, and to make a difference, even in the strangest places. He knew their day together had already changed both of them. Lyra had learned trust, hope, and courage from him. And he had learned something about himself, that humans could leave a mark on the galaxy not just through technology or strength, but through heart, kindness, and bravery. As the twin suns rose again, Jack and Lyra prepared to continue their journey. The galaxy was large and the dangers were many, but together, a human and a little alien girl had discovered that courage, wisdom, and compassion could shine even in the darkest corners of space. And for one day, that was enough.